Hello YouTube, this is Let's Talk Horror and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so today we have major news coming out of the Friday the 13th world, coming out of the world of Crystal Lake, as we finally have a new showrunner for the A24 and Peacock show, Crystal Lake. And here it is. He goes by the name of Brad Caleb Kane. He is your new showrunner for Crystal Lake. The Bryan Fuller Crystal Lake television show is dead, and the Brad Caleb Kane Crystal Lake television show is here. So I'm going to read a Variety article to you and give you all the relevant details, and then I will come back here and I will discuss and give you my thoughts. So the Variety article is here, and the title of the article is Friday the 13th prequel series at Peacock taps Brad Caleb Kane as new showrunner. And scrolling down into the article, here's what it says. The Friday the 13th prequel series Crystal Lake has brought on Brad Caleb Kane as the new creator, showrunner, and executive producer. The show hails from A24 and was ordered to series at Peacock in 2022. Kane's hiring comes roughly 3 months after the original series creator, Bryan Fuller, was fired from the project. No plot details are available for the series. The article goes on to give a synopsis of the original 1980 film, but now here we move on to the part of the article with a statement from Brad Caleb Kane. Quote, "From the moment I watched Jason Voorhees squeeze a guy's eyeball out of its socket in glorious 3D at the tender age of 8 years old, I knew my creative path was someday destined to converge with the man behind the mask. Nothing defined my childhood more than growing up in the golden age of the slasher flick, and nothing's defined the genre more than Friday the 13th. I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity to contribute a chapter to this iconic franchise, particularly with such fearless partners as Peacock and A24. This is now the second horror prequel series on which Kane has worked. He recently wrapped production on the upcoming HBO series It, Welcome to Derry, on which he served as co-showrunner and executive producer. His other TV writing credits include Warrior, Tokyo Vice, Fringe, and Black Sails. He is repped by Kaplan Perone and attorney Tara Cole. As previously reported, Victor Miller, who penned the original film in the franchise, remains on board as an executive producer, along with Mark Toberoff, Robert M. Barsamian, and Robert P. Barsamian, and A24 is the studio, and that is the Variety article. I will link it in the description if you want to read it yourself. So what do I think about this? Well, first of all, it's good news that we finally have a new showrunner in place. We finally know who's going to be running this thing, because the truth is, when Bryan Fuller was fired, and even though we kept getting reports and stuff like that they wanted to really make the show, A24 wanted to make the show, Peacock wanted to make the show, the longer it went on that we didn't have a showrunner in place for this, the more worried I was that I was going to wake up one day and we were going to hear that the show was dead entirely. And now we know that it's not, that they were serious about moving forward with this, and that they are, and that they have a guy in place who clearly has a vision that A24 and Peacock like. We are actually getting this thing. Finally, we have confirmation of that. So on that end, I'm very optimistic. But as far as Brad Caleb Kane, it's hard to be really optimistic because I did not know this guy existed 24 hours ago. I didn't know who this guy was. I've never seen anything he worked on. I've been doing research for a lot of the day on the stuff that he's worked on. Now, and they mentioned some of it. So, writer and executive producer, he's worked on a show called Crash, Fringe, Black Sails, Lodge 49, Warrior, and Tokyo Vice. So to go along with Welcome to Derry. And why I guess I can't get truly excited about this is the one horror thing he's worked on, as a co-showrunner and executive producer on Welcome to Derry. Welcome to Derry has not been released yet. We have been hearing about Welcome to Derry for quite a long time, and they just wrapped production, and so we should get a better indication soon of when that's coming out. But we haven't actually seen anything about that yet. We barely know anything about it. We haven't had a full trailer yet. So even though I'm excited about that, I can't truly be optimistic about this when I haven't seen the finished product. And let's be honest, that's Andy Muschietti's baby. That's Andy Muschietti's world. If that show is a huge financial success, if that show is a huge critical success, Andy Muschietti is going to get the credit for that, not Brad Caleb Kane. Crash only ran for 2 seasons, apparently, and it did not get good reviews. Fringe ran for 5 seasons, and it has like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's good. Black Sails ran for 4 seasons, and it has like an 80 or 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. Lodge 49 has like a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it only ran for 2 seasons. Warrior has like a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it only ran for 3 seasons. And finally, Tokyo Vice only ran for like 2 seasons, but has an 85%. So you notice the pattern here, guys. A lot of the stuff that Brad Caleb Kane has been a part of, it's gotten actually pretty damn good reviews, at least from the Rotten Tomatoes scores I was able to find. But his shows also don't last very long. Fringe is the longest show he's ever worked on, and that went 5 seasons. Black Sails went 4 seasons. Then you have like Lodge 49 that went for 2 seasons, and then Tokyo Vice went for 2 seasons, Warrior went for 3. I mean, his stuff doesn't last very long. Even in this day and age where streaming shows are generally shorter, shows at most pretty much only go 5, 6, maybe 7 seasons. Whereas, in the classic age of cable and network television, it wasn't uncommon to see a show go 9, 10, 11 seasons. But even in this day and age, 3 or 4 seasons is not all that long. So as happy as I am to see a lot of the stuff he has worked on be well received, I guess the shorter time frame of which his shows go on is a little bit concerning, at least to me. Maybe it's not to you. To be honest, I think if Nick Antosca had been announced today as the creator and the showrunner of Crystal Lake, I'd be quite a bit more excited than I am right now, because I'm more familiar with his work after he was reported to kind of be the front runner for the showrunner's job. I actually went and watched Channel Zero and I adored it. That got me a lot more excited about the possibility of him being the showrunner, to go along with the fact that he wrote a Friday the 13th script that I really liked. He's done some other stuff that I really liked. I would have been pretty excited about that. I can't say the same about this as of right now. I'm excited that this thing is moving forward. I'm excited that we finally have clarity. But as far as the name itself, again, I had never heard of this guy 24 hours ago. While there's some reasons to be optimistic, looking at his track record, I'd have to actually sit down and watch some of the stuff he's done and enjoy it to truly get excited. But who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, we will be sitting here and Brad Caleb Kane will be a huge name in the horror community because how he revived the Friday the 13th franchise, and how, he made a show that all Friday the 13th fans, or most Friday the 13th fans, really love. Maybe we'll be talking about that in a couple of years. Hopefully, now that this is out of the way and announced, hopefully we'll get a clearer vision of what his Crystal Lake TV show will look like. And look, that statement at the very least does get me a little excited, because with the references to the 3D and the eyeball popping out and the man behind the mask, it does sound like he is genuinely a pretty big fan of the franchise. So just excited to have this announcement today. And while I don't fully know what to make of it, while I don't fully know how excited I should be, I'll probably know within a week or two once I get more familiar with his work. Overall, I'm pretty happy with today's announcement. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on what this announcement means. If you're more familiar with Brad Caleb Kane's work than I am, should I be more excited? Should I be more cautious? Let me know. Or just comment your thoughts and maybe we can have a discussion. But hope you enjoyed today's video, guys, and I will see you guys later. Take care.